Welcome back to another episode of Love Saranghae with us, Peter and Andrea. If you've ever felt like you're doing all the right things, you've bought the expensive products, you're following trends, maybe even being consistent, but your skin still isn't where you want it to be, this episode is for you. Because the truth is, it's probably not your skin that's the problem. Today we're talking about why your skincare might not be working and the things no one is really telling you about, what it actually takes to see real, lasting results. We're going to break down the biggest mistakes we see, the mindset shift that changed everything for us, and how Korean skincare philosophy approaches skin health in a completely different way. This isn't about adding more products, but it's about finally understanding your skin. Let's go.
Okay. Are we ready? Let's go.
Here we go.
I had to get my 2 cents in there because,
I know. I talk a lot. It's okay. All right, so let's start here. Why do so many people feel like their skin isn't working, even when they're investing, or they think they're investing in good products?
Yeah, so why do people think their skincare products or routine aren't working, and even when they're investing in good products? Well, I think there are lots of reasons why. There isn't one reason why, every single person is not getting the best out of the skincare routine. There's a variety of reasons. But the most probably the reason that kind of encompasses most people is the consistency problem, right? And I'll give you an example. For example, the hottest topic right now are probably peptides. Peptides are short-chain amino acids, right? An example of a peptide is Ozempic. Ozempic is a peptide that works on the GLP-1 receptor, the glucagon receptor. So that is a form of a peptide. In skincare, peptides work on a deeper level, which means it takes time for it to actually do something. It's foundational. It goes into the skin cell level, and it, especially for peptides like SH polypeptide 121, it signals our skin cells to produce more collagen, and it takes a long time. It takes a while for that to happen. But we see a lot of customers that say, I haven't seen results in 4 weeks, sometimes even days, right? That doesn't work. Skincare routines it's a practice, not a solution, not a cure. So this is something that must be practiced over a lifetime. And over that lifetime, you will see results that compound itself. Okay, so that's the first problem, consistency. 2.
But we live in a world that we really want like quick, fast results.
Yeah.
We're impatient.
Yes.
We don't want to put the effort and time. And so it's the same with our skin. We want to, we have a wrinkle on our forehead and we put cream on sometimes and we want it to work, but it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
The second thing is the actually idea of a skincare routine. And this is important, right? Because even as early as about 20 years ago, when you're looking for acne solution, you basically had something like a benzoyl peroxide pad, which is what I had when I was young.
I remember those.
But a benzoyl peroxide will basically strip away the oils in your skin, and then you do nothing. So there was no skincare routine to basically cleanse, to balance your pH, or to calm down the inflammation once you used your benzoyl peroxide pad. So what happened afterwards? Your skin goes extremely dry, and then the skin does the one thing that it does when it's stressed. It produces more sebum or oil. And then what happens? You get more breakouts, right? So, we've come a long way since then, but the idea that there's a miracle product out there, one product that'll do everything, I just need a cream, or I just need this thing from Korea that will do everything, is a fallacy.
Changed my life.
Yeah, it's a fallacy. So, here's a hot take. If it's on TikTok, it's probably false, right? TikTok trends of these viral products that go online, more often than not, they're just simply there to get you to click on the video, and that's about it. Great skin comes from a foundational skincare routine that follows 5 pillars: cleanse, exfoliate, correct, heal and calm down inflammation, moisturize, seal, and protect. That's it. If you can do those 5 pillars in that order, that's really all you need. It's foundational, and it's been like that for decades. But social media has turned that on its head.
100%. 100%. Okay, so we said consistency, the right routine for you. And also, one other thing I would add is that just because something's expensive doesn't mean it's better.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Yes, I agree.
So I think that's another thing that a lot of people say to me. I use like the most expensive skincare and my skin still looks like this. And I say to them, well, maybe you need to change the skincare. Maybe that expensive product is really not doing what it's supposed to do for you. And it may do that for someone else, but for you, it's not the right product.
Yeah.
So don't just look at the price and assume that it's better because it's expensive.
Well, so that's a great point. What I will share with my audience right now, and this is pretty interesting information, is that in terms of concentrated actives, in terms of like correctives that, have strength, the U.S. actually has allows for greater concentration of actives than Korea. So Korea has a lot more controlled environment when it comes to correctives. So you'll get a much stronger AHA, BHA here. You'll get a much stronger retinol or retinoids here. You can't even get azelaic acid in Korea. It's controlled. It has to be prescription based, right? You can get up to 10% here in U.S. So U.S. has greater amount of correctives. But, and then you put that into a skin cream and say, 10% retinol and charge $300. But that's not how the skin behaves.
Yeah.
To get the most of your skin, you also have to fix or to calm down your skin barrier, right? Not just correct with the retinol.
Yeah.
You're just doing one part of the skincare routine, right? So that's the key. The key is that you have to do both. You can use correctives like retinol or azelaic acid or tranexamic acid to do things to your skin, but then calm it right down with skin barrier support and transdermal water gain, all of these things to help your skin heal, because your skin is an organ.
So it actually can do what it's intended to do.
Exactly.
And get the most benefit out of the product.
Exactly.
So you cannot, like Peter's saying, you cannot just use retinol by itself. You need to use it in a proper routine.
Exactly.
That will support the skin through each phase of its shedding, I should say.
And if you do this consistently in little bits over time, that's what makes most difference, right? You're just basically treating it and conditioning your skin like any other organ, a little bit at a time, every single day. And it builds.
All right. What are some of the biggest mistakes you see people making in their skincare routines?
Yeah.
I think we kind of touched on this already.
Yeah, we touched on this, yeah.
But is there anything that sticks out? I think for me, what I see a lot is people, especially women who are perimenopausal and menopausal women, they're overusing their actives.
Yes.
So, and like we said earlier, they're not using them in a correct routine. So the first part of that is they're overusing actives. So, for example, they're using retinol forever and ever and ever and ever without taking a break. With retinol, you want to use it in cycles.
Yep.
So you use it, maybe finish a bottle, and then take a break, like take 2 months off. And maybe use vitamin C instead, or use a different active, or use nothing, give your skin a break. Because then when you reintroduce the retinol, your skin will really respond to that, the effect of the retinol. But if you overuse it, eventually you'll damage your skin barrier. So often I tell women who are in menopause or just going through that phase to stop using actives altogether.
Yeah,
and they're like,
I agree.
I can't let go of my retinol. And I'm like, trust me, you'll notice this huge difference if you just take a break. And they do, or the ones that do, almost 100% of the time are like, my skin is glowing. So it's giving your skin time to regenerate and repair and heal and breathe.
Yeah. Well, retinol actually, out of retinoids. So retinoids is the word that describes all forms of retinoids. I guess your retinol, retinaldehyde, retinoic acid. So retinoids actually have a really interesting and illustrious history, right? So it was about 1930s when they with scientists were able to stabilize and isolate vitamin A and called it retinol. And then it was about the 1960s when I believe it was actually Posay from La Roche. a scientist named Laroche. Yeah. So they were the first ones to actually commercialize retinol into something called tretinoin and found retinoic acid. In that moment, late 1960s, in that moment, they published a report clinically showing how retinoic acid was able to reduce fine lines. And at that point, there was no other competition. That drove the retinoic acid adoption rate tremendously. That was what created this whole idea of tretinoin.
Yeah.
Right. And fast forward to 2026, the ladies or customers who are very attached to the retinoids are the older customers, like in their 70s, on the early 80s. Those who basically were in that boom when tretinoin was being marketed as the anti-aging miracle compound, and that's who are looking at tretinoin going, but I need my retinol, I need my retinoic acid. We've come a long way since then, but that's the reason why we see so many people still holding on to the retinoids, is because that was the first super anti-aging compound that was marketed to North America.
It's interesting when you look at K-beauty or Korean skincare, like we said earlier. In Korea, actives are not like a long time thing.
No.
They just come around maybe 5 years ago or so, or something like that, where they're trying to be more North American over there.
Yeah.
And we're like, no, please don't.
Yeah, don't do it. Don't do it. Yeah. It's the approach.
Yeah, that's something also to consider. Like we always say, Koreans or Asian people have really beautiful glass skin. And they're not necessarily using the actives that we use over here. So that's something to think about.
Yeah, it's absolutely true. Absolutely true.
Not necessarily. I think what's more important than the actives is the consistency.
Absolutely.
Using the right products for your skin. And then on the whole other side of it is proper sleep. How stressed out are you?
Yeah.
Are you eating well? Are you going to the bathroom regularly? Are you exercising and sweating?
Yeah.
All of those things really are part of your skincare.
Well,
and so it's really important to keep that in mind when you're looking for that miracle product.
Yeah. So the other thing I wanted to add, many of the customers that I've talked to, and they're better now, for sure better now. But when we first launched in North America, that we were two questions. Number one is, what is a cleanser, or why do I need a cleanser? And two, why can't I just use what I have right now, which is basically body soap or hand soap, right? Like Irish Spring or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And the reason why I tell you this, number one, cleansing is very important because if you don't have a clean environment to work with for the serums and the creams to come after, you're basically burying or layering oxidative stress on your serums and creams. And oxidative stress, your environmental stressors, are the ones that create aging. It's a process of aging over a period of time, right? So you want to make sure that your face is devoid of environmental stressors, right? That's the first answer to the first question, why is cleansing important to you? The second thing, though, is the reason why facial cleansers are important, or our nourishing and moisturizing oil and foam cleanser, which is 2-in-1, is that the pH, potential hydrogen level of a cleanser is 8, right? When you get to 12 or 11, it's way too caustic, which is what hand soap and detergents do. Okay, they will clean the heck out of your clothes. They will clean the heck out of it, whatever that you wash that with.
Whatever the heck it is, they're cleaning.
But it will also strip away all of your essential oils. It's like a carpet bomb, right? And that's not what you want. You don't want to feel tight and dry when you get out of that shower. No. That is a recipe for disaster down the road, right? What you want your skin to feel is slightly moisturized, not cleansed, but not so tight and not so dry. That's what you want. And then you use a toning essence to rebalance the pH down to 5.4, because our skin needs to be slightly acidic. If it's basic, it can lead to disease, skin disease, and compromise. That's why you have to bring it all down to an acidic pH, right? Yeah. That's the mistake that people make. You need to be able to use a cleanser that is in the right pH range, that'll make sure that you cleanse properly, but that your skin is not overly dry and overly stripped. That's my thing that I think people are making a mistake in their routines.
Well, I think this goes into the next question, like what is the Korean philosophy on skincare and solving skin concerns? And a big part of Korean philosophy is cleansing.
Yes.
The cleansing step in Korea is the most important step in the entire routine. And they have like 3 different cleansers that they use every day. And so, and the reason for that is if your skin is not properly cleaned, and not just cleaned like a detergent, but properly cleaned, where it's not stripping the hydration out of your skin, it's not damaging the skin, but it is effectively cleaning the day's worth of dirt that's on your face.
Yeah.
You're really not getting the full benefit of the rest of the products to follow. So even if you're using a moisturizer, that's it. You're doing a cleanser and a moisturizer. The moisturizer cannot do its full job if the skin is not properly cleaned.
You know, it's interesting that Korea has come such a way to a modern skincare now. There are some good and bad points. I mean, you know, Koreans are really, really, they have an affinity to things like PDRN, salmon PDRN right now, exosomes. I mean, they're all fine and dandy, but they're playing at the fringe level.
Yeah.
At the fringe level of anti-aging. The reason why Korean skincare works is really the approach to long-term skincare, right? The fact that, you know, when Korean women used to wear sunscreen all the time or walked around with a parasol in North America, people laughed. People said, "What are you doing? That's so weird. You're walking around with an umbrella." But now we know better, right? Now we know that, you know, especially in states like Utah or Arizona, where the sun is, Florida, where the sun is so intense, you need to keep your skin out of the sun. That is a rule number 1 of anti-aging, right? Or at least control it. Whereas North America for the last 20, you know, it's better now. But my God, with like tanning oil, yeah, exactly. I mean, that's what happens now. So that's the thing about Korean skincare. Like traditionally, it's always been about using natural ingredients, consistent skincare routine in layers, like we've talked about. A 10-step routine is real. My mom used to do a 8 to 10-step routine. I do a 5, a 6. My wife, Andrea, does about a 5 or 6. And it's real.
But it wasn't always a 5 or 6. I think that's an important part to note, too, is that I worked my way up to that.
Yeah.
It was when I started, I was probably a 2. I did cleanser and a moisturizer. Maybe 3 I did SPF. But it took me a while to be really consistent with that, see the benefit, like it, and then want to try something else to add to it to enhance the routine.
I think everyone's like that.
And I think that's important, though, to make a note of that, because people feel guilty that they're not doing 6 steps right off the bat. And I always say, no, you want to start small and consistent.
Yeah.
And then you can add to that as you go.
Like, I'll be frank. If you had a choice between having a 10-step routine and a 1-step routine, but you do the 1-step routine consistently, that's what I would choose, right? Like,
Exactly.
There's a quote by Bruce Lee I'm going to quote. Most of you will not know this, but I will say it anyway because it sounds cool, which is, you know, never fear the man that practices 10,000 kicks once. Fear the man that practices 1 kick 10,000 times.
Yes.
Right? It's about reps and consistency.
I love your saying, so it's so good.
I don't know anybody.
Corny, but also really good.
We're gonna have maybe 10 people watch this video online, and I don't think anyone will know what I'm talking about. Maybe one will, but I hope.
No, it makes sense. It's clear. Clear. Okay, so let's just get through this Korean philosophy a little bit further. Another really big thing in Korea is hydration and nourishment. Those 2 things really are driven home from the time you're a baby. Like, you want to hydrate and you want to nourish, and then there's barrier support. So, like, think of SPF as what we were talking about. The other thing that they really focus on is layering. So, thinnest to thickest. And they don't just stack them all quickly. They put, you know, a serum and they wait a few seconds. Then they put another serum and they wait a few seconds. And then they put a moisturizer and then they wait. And that sort of calculated layering is really effective because it gives the skin time to absorb the product, not just like slathering it all around wet.
Yeah.
So
well, there's a reason for that, right? So the reason why you should always apply your skincare routine or skincare products when it's slightly damp and not wet is if the skin is dry, the skin becomes unpermeable. It will not let the serums actually penetrate past the skin layer. It becomes like a shield. It won't penetrate. So it's all of your serums, your expensive serums, will just sit on the top of your skin. If your skin is too wet, it dilutes the concentration of the products or the actives in the skincare product. So think about when your skin is really wet and you put a lotion, moisturizing cream on. See how everything's so kind of like gets diluted?
Penetrate.
Yeah. There's no absorption because the water dilutes all of the cream. That's what happens. So the perfect situation is slightly damp.
Yeah. So remember, when you think of K-beauty, try to remember that we're not quick fix. If you want a quick fix, we are not the philosophy, or whatever you want to call it for you. It is really about daily care for your skin for long-term gain or benefit.
It's just like exercise.
So important. Yeah.
Skincare is practice,
like
right?
Yeah.
Skincare is a practice. It's just daily exercise. Luckily, it only takes like 3 minutes a day, but you know.
Exactly. Okay, so one thing I think is important to talk about here is what role does inflammation play in skin issues, and why is this something most people are not paying attention to?
Yeah, it's a great question. It's very simple. Inflammation leads to oxidative stress. Look, I'll give you an example. So the process of aging for anything is called oxidation. When you look at a bar of iron, let's go take a look at steel or iron, and it oxidizes, you know what happens? It rusts, right? Steel aging is rust, and rust is oxidation. Let's put that into skincare or human skin. When free radicals in our skin produce oxidative stress, that leads to rust in our skin. It leads to aging. And that aging or the oxidative stress is caused by inflammation. Inflammation is really the cause of, or stress caused by inflammation is really the cause of everything that we consider as skin concerns. Hyperpigmentation, acne breakouts, skin aging, it's all stems from the stress caused by inflammation. Because all our skin can do when it's inflamed and stressed is just to produce more sebum. Like it's under constant stress, and so it doesn't know what to do except produce more sebum, which a host of other problems. Right? That's it. That's really simple.
So basically, you just need snack. Just slather yourself out. Eat it, drink it. No, don't. I'm joking. But
well, that's a great point, though. If someone were here to ask us, okay, I don't have the budget, nor do I know where to start. Where do you start? Our recommendation is to start with the healing first.
Yeah.
Start with your outer layer. Start with bringing down the inflammation. So snail emulsion is perfect, and Firm and Lift to seal in afterwards. Right? All serums most serums are water based. It'll evaporate, so you got to seal that with a cream at the final step. So
if you find that too heavy for the daytime, you could do the Orora bioactive collagen cream or just an SPF.
Yeah. So the starting trio is always, we call it our Myeongjo trio, named after my mom, but it's basically cleanser, serum, a snail serum, Firm and Lift, or some kind of a cream. Those three. So that's always start with the healing first, and then introduce correctives as your skin starts to respond to the healing.
Yeah, I agree with that. I didn't use correctives for a really long time, and I've always had really nice skin. As I'm getting older, I'm almost 45 now, I'm starting to use the actives, but I'm using them very intermittently. So I'll use the retinol for the bottle, I'll finish the bottle, and I'll just stop for a couple of months.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
I'll use vitamin C when I stop, and then I'll just switch back and forth. Sometimes I use azelaic acid. I love azelaic acid to me.
It's so great.
But I'm always using snail. Whatever I do, I'm using snail because often when your skin starts to heal, some of your skin concerns will go away naturally.
Yeah, absolutely. That happens.
So you might be surprised. You may not need things that you think you do. So, and the snail mucin is really affordable. I think it's like $40
for like a 50 mil.
And then it goes a long way.
Yeah,
so it's a good place to start if you're not sure where to start.
Yeah.
Okay. I
Number
think
7.
that's it. Is there anything else you want to say?
What's the one thing you would stop doing immediately if you wanted better skin? So we talked about what to do. Let's talk about some of the things you could take out of your daily life that can help you with your probably health, skin, and overall health.
Stop scrolling before bedtime.
That's a really good one. That's a really good one.
Just go to bed.
Yeah. Don't argue with your wife for too long.
Yes.
You'll never win.
Happy life. Happy life.
Okay. So here's a couple of things. Number 1, please do not trust what you see on social media verbatim. Okay. Their goal is to get you to click and view. The goal has not, their video has not been, scrubbed for truth, nor do they care that it's true or not. They just want you to, get shocked or go, oh my God, this is amazing. And to be honest, in this day and age, boring truth is shoved into the side, and more sensationalized lies seem to be getting a lot more clicks. So, I would stay away from TikTok or Instagram. Do your own research. Talk to dermatologists. Talk to people like us. And if it makes sense, it's probably right. If it doesn't, if it feels a little off, it's probably not correct. Trust your gut there, right?
And keep your kids out of Sephora, please.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Your 14-year-olds do not need retinol or vitamin C or collagen.
I remember was it 15 years ago, there was, and it didn't last that long, but there was this trend of a skin cream with snake venom, right? And it was selling for $200. It didn't last long, but people were going, oh, snake venom. Well, there's no miracle product. It didn't work. Nothing helped. And the snake venom didn't help. A good skincare routine with 5 pillars, yes, that will help.
Okay, what's another thing you would stop?
Yeah, so the other thing too, in the same vein of a conversation, you're trying different brands and different products too quickly, basically does nothing for you. It'll actually do the opposite, right? You don't know. First of all, you don't know what worked. You don't know what didn't work because you're switching out products too often. Give your skin the chance for it to respond to the products they're using. That's at least 45 days.
Yeah.
Anything before
That's a good one. Give it a chance. Give it a fair chance and use it consistently.
Yeah.
In the right routine.
Yeah.
To make sure that you're going to get the full benefit or not from it.
I'm going to say something controversial, and we can talk about it a little bit. I always say that you never skip SPF. Never skip sunscreen, right? Especially SPF 50, and always use physical. Do not use chemical, because chemical sunscreens are notorious for having the wrong SPF rating, and they fail constantly. So physical. However, I am a big believer that sun is good for us, right? My son and daughter, when they go to Greece and they play around in the sun all day long, they grow like weed, right? It's good for us.
Sun and sea.
Yeah, sun and sea. I don't believe that covering ourselves from the sun all the time is necessarily a good thing for us. I tend to not wear my SPF when I go for a run of an hour or less. Anything longer than that, I wear my sunscreen.
And it's very early in the morning.
Yeah, and it's very early in the morning. So I get immediate sunlight at 6 in the morning, so the sun isn't that intense.
Yep.
Now, mind you, I'm in Toronto, so I'm not living in Colorado where the sun is much more intense, or in Florida. But I try to get unprotected sun on my skin just a little bit every morning. I think it helps my mood. I think it helps my sleep. I think it just helps overall in terms of life. And I'm willing to put up with a little bit of sunspots here and there if that's the price I have to pay for running out there without sunscreen, enjoying sun on my face. Mm-hmm. That's my hot take, and that's my controversial take.
It is controversial for sure, but I think I agree with it. I think I would not do without SPF in the middle of the day. I would say maybe after 8 a.m., you should be wearing your SPF. And, until about 4 p.m. Really important during those really hot periods, but it is good for you at the right time and not for extended amounts of time. So just be mindful of that. And if you want to debate that with us, we're always happy to have that discussion. So send us a DM and leave us a note.
Yeah, it just feels right to me anyway.
All right. Well, probably, in my opinion, I could be wrong, but I think the biggest takeaway of today is this: your skin isn't failing you. It's responding to what you're giving it or not giving it. And when you shift from chasing quick fixes to actually supporting your unique skin consistently, gently, and intentionally, that's when everything starts to change. Korean skincare has always been about that long-term relationship with your skin, not just results for today, but healthy skin for years to come. So if your skincare hasn't been working, maybe it's not about doing more. Maybe it's about doing things differently. I hope this episode resonated with you. If you have any questions, if you want any specific advice, you can always DM us or reach out to us on our skincare consultation on our website. Until next time, we'll see you soon.
Beautiful. Bye-bye.